Okay, I hope you guys can hear us now. Let's see. Technology. Yes, Mom said she did. Can you hear us? Okay, we're supposed to be live. I don't know what time this morning. Huh? Okay, we're supposed to be live. Can you guys hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. Finally. And that's it. Oh God, today. Can y'all hear us now? Please say yes. Ooh, I need to get out of there. I need to run myself on this page. Woo. Okay. Good. 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 Let me see. Why is our hands cut off? Okay. We were talking about loss. And evidently loss of sound. She said she could hear us on YouTube. Wait a minute, guys. Okay. I think that's better. Whew. Okay. We are back on. Had to call the technical support team in. Here we had to call our tech team in. Well, that was something. You can hear us good, good. Okay. Thank you for coming back. Yeah, I'm glad you guys came back on. Thank you for returning to Studio 22. Man, oh man. We're gonna get it together for real, for real. So again, you are who are you, man? Luther Phillips, and you are, and I'm Lori Phillips, and we are the Phillipses, and we are you, me, and we. And so we have started a podcast to come on and talk about the things that have transpired within the last 29 years of our marriage. And today we want to discuss loss. Um, so many times in marriages, you're going to take a loss or take a L, as they say. And sometimes they're easy to recover from, and sometimes they're not so easy to recover from. And today we kind of find ourselves in the season of loss. One of my very, very best friends is going through transition, and she is transitioning to be with the Lord. And it's kind of hard for us right now um, to see that. But also in loss, sometimes you can prepare yourself for it. You can see it coming. You know, as we watching her basically die, you prepare yourself somewhat for it. And then there are times when you can't. But you just said it's just sudden. It's sudden. Sometimes a loss, basically death, and that's what we're going to discuss today is um, sometimes it is sudden. It's immediate, and it's hard to prepare for that. Um, what do you think, that everything? Um, well, I just recall um, my dad went suddenly. It was sudden. It was just he was here, and next thing you know, he was gone. Get a phone call, and yeah, that was a little tough. Yeah, that It was rough. Because it was, yeah, it was, it was unexpected. We expected your
My
mom to go
mom,
first because
yeah.
she had stage 4 breast cancer.
Cancer.
And we knew she was passing, but eventually. And but I think the stress, kind of took him out. It was a lot for him.
Yeah.
The stress was a lot. And our, uh, I would say a loss that we experienced, as a couple, as our first couple. Now, when we got married, we have a blended family. I had a daughter, and Luther had a daughter. So, we were kind of content a little bit, but of course, the idea of us having children together is what we desired and what we wanted. So, you know, we got married in October. In January, we discovered, that we were pregnant, and so we were excited. We were
Yeah.
excited about that. We were excited to have children of our own together, our children together. And so that January, yeah, we found out we were pregnant, and and even before that, pregnancy and I don't really doesn't really mix. Not just say mix. I never liked being pregnant. Some women love the feeling of being pregnant and carrying the baby, and I was sick all the time. Through all the pregnancies I had, I've always been sick. That morning sickness, and for me, it wasn't morning; it was all the time. So, um, when like I said, we had a blended family. So when I was pregnant with Ashley, I carried her 29 weeks. So Ashley was born 2 months premature. Ashley weighed 2 pounds, 9 ounces. And back then, like now, they believed skin to skin. You have your baby and, you put them skin to skin, you develop that connection, that, what'd you say?
Bonding.
Yeah, that bonding between mother and baby and father and baby. Back then, they didn't, allow you to do that. I couldn't hold Ashley until she was 5 pounds. So of course, like I said, she was 2 pounds 9 ounces, and babies lose weight. So she went all the way down to um, 2 pounds. So again, like I said, pregnancy and I just don't mix. Just like I said, I'm just not a fan of being pregnant. So um, in January, I was, what was that? Not, no, we found out in January. So in June, I was almost 6 months. I was almost 6 months pregnant. And my water broke early, and we we lost a baby. It was a boy, and we lost the baby. Um, and it was hard on both of us. But for me as a woman carrying a baby and then losing the baby and then having that feeling of emptiness because I had something and now it's gone, and I know I'm carrying a child, but I no longer have a child. Um, so affected me different, of course. How would you say it affected you? The first loss.
Um, that affected me because that was when you eclampsia set in.
Mm-mm. Not the first time.
Um,
As you see, we're talking about the first. There's another.
I don't remember. I remember the time when you were eclampsia set in and you almost,
Yeah.
almost died.
Well,
So,
and in the relationships, you have some that are different. Some go through the grieving process a little different. For me, um, I grieve, but then I'm like, okay, come on, let's try again. Let's do this, because again, I'm feeling empty. I needed this void filled, so we um, we tried again, and we got pregnant, carried the baby, and so it was a year and a week to the day that we lost the second baby. Um, So this second time it was a little hard. It was harder. The second time. So again, I've carried 4 babies, and each time my cervix opens up. It's just something that I have an issue with my cervix. So my cervix just opens up. It's hard for me to carry babies. So with the first one, the doctor said, I suggested a cerclage, but she said, no, I don't, think so. Everything will be okay. Da 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 da. Again, my cervix opened up, and we lost the first baby. Second time, um, I the doctor said, yes, we will do a cerclage. Now, cerclage is when they sew up your cervix, so your cervix does not open up. So no, 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 I'm wrong. The second time we did not get a cerclage. I think the second time we had a different doctor. So the second time we did not get a cerclage. And again, my cervix did open up. And they transferred me over to St. Elizabeth because I said, look, I'm out of here. There's nothing Sharon Regional can do. They're not a level 4 trauma. They can't do anything with um, premature babies. So we're out of here. So we went over to St. E's. So over at St. E's, when you're in that situation, St. E's will save the baby before they save you. So again, my cervix opened up, my water broke, so I had no amniotic fluid around the baby. And um, I keep saying, so I had no amniotic fluid around the baby. And so I laid there, and hours had gone by, because they were talking about, your fluid can build back up. It didn't. And I developed eclampsia. I was hyperventilating. We thought I was going to die. And then finally, you said, what?
Just take the baby.
Can you hear you, baby?
Just take the baby.
Just take the baby. They said, take the baby out. I'm not going to lose my wife. Just take the baby. So dealing with that loss, because I felt like, and at the time we were saved, serving God, doing what we felt was right, as a married couple. And God, and I just have to say, God, you got crackheads out here just dropping babies like flies. And you're going to take my kids? You're going to take my babies? Not one, but two. So the first one we had a graveside service for. We buried the baby on top of Luther's grandfather. And the second one, my parents were like, we'll take care of it because I just wanted no parts of it anymore. It was just enough. It was just too much for me. So during that time, again, kind of like the first time, still feeling a loss, still feeling empty. But we just said, this is it. We're not going to try again. We're done. We have, you have a girl, I have a girl. We have 2 girls together. So we're just going to just leave it at that. Through that, you had a lot of people come to you and just say the cliche things. Um, it was in God's will. It's all in God's timing. Um, just trust God. I done lost 2 babies. I don't even want to hear that. I did not, I mean, honestly, I didn't want to hear. I would just rather you come to me and just sit next to me, hold my hand, don't even say nothing. Just don't, it'll be okay. How do you know? How do you know if you haven't lost a baby? How you know it's going to be okay? So I know sometimes for me, and when other people are going through the cycle of bereavement, I just give my condolence. And I just say I'm praying for you. Because I know how it felt when, other people say, oh, it's in God's will, it's in God, you'll have, like, you don't know. Like, I don't even want to hear all of that. Um, and so share how you were feeling.
I felt as though, everybody asked the woman how she felt, what she was going through, but the guys, as a guy, nobody really asked me how I felt. It was, expect you to, hey, toughen up or, just go ahead and go through it. But nobody ever came and asked me, my feelings, how I felt, what was going through my mindset, how, that, it never happened. Um, so, I mean, it was tough, uh, very tough. Um, and like I said, uh, seeing you lay there and almost, the look of death upon you, it really is a look on people. You can tell, and you can see it. Um, so that was tough, real tough. Um, but God, He did bring us through that.
So sometimes when you go through that cycle of loss and bereavement, for us, it didn't, I don't think it caused, I don't remember it causing division. I almost feel like it brought us closer together. Um, Luther was there for me to lean on, and that support, because it was rough. And so it took some time. Like I said, we just both decided, yeah, we're not going to do this again. We're not going to have any kids. But after some years, I want to say it was a couple years, uh, I wanted another baby. I wanted a baby. Luther was adamant. Absolutely not. No, we're not doing this. Um, his his mom really did not want us to keep trying because Luther has a special needs sister, and she was afraid, possibly the baby could have special needs, be born with special needs. So she said, just be happy, with what you have. It's okay. You'll have two kids. But it was different. We, again, suffering a loss and feeling empty. I needed to fill that void. But Luther was adamant at the time. He was like, no, not doing it. No, not doing it. So I remember during that time, we were having a women's, almost like a women's meeting, women's retreat at the church. And so at that meeting, I kind of expressed my feelings of wanting to have another baby, um, feeling empty, still, mourning the loss. I didn't think I was, but I was. And I remember one of the women at the church. I she was being sarcastic, but she said, "No, you can steal a baby," and meaning you can get pregnant. And I could have if I wanted to. Yeah, I could get pregnant, but I didn't want to because I knew how Luther really felt. So we just began to pray that, God, you soften his heart. You let us know when it's time. Because he was still grieving. Luther needed to heal. Um, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, no, no, we're not doing this again. He said, I'm not going through it. We're just not going to suffer that loss again. So over time, we prayed. And, Luther said, okay, I'm ready. Let's have another baby. Let's try this again. And boy, oh boy, let me tell you, we was trying, and we was trying. Um, you know how you just want to, okay, we're gonna have a baby. We're gonna do this. We'll get pregnant in a month. But no, it took a little while. I think when we just relaxed and didn't think about it, and then we got pregnant. And here comes Channing. Now with this baby, we definitely got a cerclage. Uh, and even then, my water broke early. I was 8 months pregnant. Well, I just can't carry baby. I was 8 months pregnant and my water broke. And I'll never forget it. I called. I was on the phone, actually, I was on the phone with my friend. And I had just got out the tub and whatever. So I was standing and I had dried off. Now, I ain't being graphic or nothing, but it is what it is. And I had dried off, and all of a sudden, I just felt water trickling down. And I've never been that far for my water to break like that. So I just felt, water like, I'm like, oh my God, I think my water broke. And she was like, well, call the doctor, whatever. So I did. They said, come in, we'll check you, we'll remove your cerclage. And they did. She said, if nothing happens in 4 hours, um, meet us at the hospital. So I went, I got my hair done. I went, because look, you done seen some of the women in the hospital with their hair all over their head. I wasn't having that. My pictures was not going to look like that. So I went and I got my hair done. and went and got something to eat because they're not going to let you eat. So we got ready, and boom, here comes Channing. So not only did we lose two boys, but God blessed us to have another one where we thought that, we have girls, but we wouldn't have a boy because already lost two. But God is gracious, and He allowed us to have another boy. So that was one of the one of the very first loss, a major loss in our relationship, in our marriage, um, that we made it through. Um, Jenny turned 25, about a week ago? So 25 years ago, we had Jenny, and I think I think that was a loss that it really impacted us, and it grew us closer together. Luther saw, I think he saw a side of me, that women go through, the strength that we portray, because we have to be strong going through this, giving birth and suffering through loss. And so, after Channing, we decided, no, actually, before Channing was even born, we said, we're not going through this again. I was 6 months pregnant when Luther decided to get a vasectomy because he was like, you've gone through too much. He didn't want to see me get my tubes tied and go through all that. So, yeah, girl, get my hair done was important. And so he made the decision,
Yeah.
just to get a vasectomy. And the doctor was like, but what if you lose this baby? Then it was not meant to be, because we're not going through this again. Cut him up, doc. And that was on a Friday. No, no, no. I said 6 months. It was 8 months. That was on a Friday. That following Monday is when my water broke. Luther was off for the whole weekend because of his vasectomy. Then my water broke. And so he was able to spend more time with me. So, it was all in the plan. What do you think, man?
Yeah, it was in the plan. Yeah, it was in the plan, all right. Yeah.
But we have
But,
suffered losses
yeah.
over these 29 years. The loss, like he had mentioned earlier, the loss of his dad. That was very unexpected. Then the loss of his mom. Then the loss of my mom. Then the loss of a grandchild. And it was so. It was like it was happening all over again when Ashley went through it. No, my daughter went through this went through the same thing that I did. And she had a boy. And I said, I remember flying to the hospital with her and her husband. And when I say flying, Raymond was flying. And she got out the car, and they put her on a gurney, taking her back to the emergency room. And she said to me, Mom, am I going to lose the baby? And I just said, Ash, I'm just going to go in here and pray. And at the time, I saw his feet coming out. So of course, I knew she was going to lose the baby. And it just like, and I said, God, not again. Some things you just don't want repeated. And it's different when it's your kids. So I'm like, gosh, I don't want her to go through the same thing that I went through. Some things you don't want your children to have to feel. You're trying to shield them from hurt, but there was nothing I could do. And but God blessed her and her husband again, and with what they call now a rainbow baby, and we have Brooklyn. And boy, oh boy, And that was 7 years, no, 8 years ago. So, but it feels like it was just yesterday, and I can still see his little legs. But yeah, it's suffering a loss. For those out there who have gone through that, and if you've lived some years, yeah, you're gonna experience loss. Um, we're talking about death right now, but yeah, there's other losses that we have experienced: the loss of jobs, loss of business, the loss of homes. I mean, we've hit the gamut, haven't we?
Yeah, yes, we have.
It's almost like other than certain would there be a lot lost, but I thank God He's still gracious. He still has His hand on our family, and just say it was only a month. Yeah, it was rough, but we made it through, and it has a tendency to bring it can tear you apart or it can bring you together. And thank God it brought us, all closer together. We haven't had a loss that we haven't recovered from. That has that hasn't caused division. I think.
Mm, no,
I don't know.
I mean, tough, but, you know, thank God He's kept us all together. And in His will.
And that's hard, Paul. Paul said he lost his dad last year in September. He said his whole world changed. That was his best friend, and we lost Daddy over 2 years ago. Mommy, 15 years, and those two deaths were different. Mommy was sudden. We didn't expect Mommy to pass, just like we didn't expect your dad to pass. And then with
Well, your mom, I remember talking with your mom. Your mom told me that was in September or October. And yeah, she told me she was ready to go. And I told her, nah, nah, you're not. And when people say they are, they are. And I remember that that was the last Thanksgiving
that was the last Thanksgiving.
that we had with her.
Mhm.
And
Mommy was ready to see Jesus. She
yeah,
was done.
she was ready.
She was ready to
My
go.
mother-in-law was the best.
She was ready to
Wouldn't
go.
trade her for the world. She was the best.
So it's like, so yeah, the loss of siblings and parents, best friends. Like I said, going through watching, Stacy going through what she's going through. Um, yeah,
That was
it's tough. So I think the thing that because of our faith, because of the faith of those around us, we made it. We make it through. I mean, um, you choose to will yourself in it, to keep going. God, I'm going to trust you, although I'm hurting, I'm grieving, I'm going through, uh, but God has got you. You know, you can look back on it sometimes and see the blessing in it. At the time, you don't see the blessing, you don't understand. Um, but yeah, we make it through. Yeah, we're just saying. When Ray Catherine passed away, and Lydia said it's 20 years this October. She said it was like yesterday. I don't think I ever met Ray Catherine. Ray Catherine.
that was it.
Mm-hmm. And Paul said it drew them closer to God during his transition. And it will, and it'll bring you closer to God and closer to your family. Now, our family, we're not. one that has a lot of division. With my sister, my brother, and I, we're all pretty close. We don't fight over money or who's getting daddy's hat or mommy's scarf or it is. We weren't that kind of family, or not that kind of family. But some families, it tears them apart. You know, because they just think about financial gain, what they can get from it. But what do you say that? So a loss is tough, but it gives you peace when you know that your loved one are resting in God. Absolutely, absolutely. We knew, um, where daddy and we knew mom and dad were both going to make it into heaven. That wasn't a question, and it did. It gave you a little bit more peace. Um, and my mom, I've said before, mama said, if you want to see me again, you better live right. Because she knew she was making it in. She knew without a shadow of a doubt she was going to be in the arms of the Lord. So, yeah, it does, Vic. You're right. It gives you peace. Paul said we actually prayed together, which had never happened before. So, and then you wonder, Paul, what was that in is, and it is in God's plan. And hopefully, you all stay close. Look at the dog, yeah. Look at the dog. Coco, get in. Get in. Just sit right there. She's feeling our emotions. But yeah, and that's a good thing, Paul. Especially when you said it's never happened before and you prayed together. And hopefully you all have prayed since. But yeah, this a loss is it can be something else. It can be really um, it can be really tough. Although there's some good that could come out of it, like Paul said. Where they pray together. Um, Anything else you want to say? I mean, because we got lost stories. We got stories. Hmm. No, no, go ahead. It's a little heavy today. Oh, it was just you and okay, just you and your dad. Okay, yeah, that was a blessing. That was a blessing. But yeah, it was a little heavy, but you know, loss is. It's never easy. It's not. We're gonna sit up here and you know, laugh about. Um, but during that time, you can let it, like we said, you can let it bring you together. It can tear you apart. A lot of the things that we have, little idiosyncrasies about ourselves, can be heightened um, in that cycle of bereavement, or because you're just lashing out, you're just upset, you're in pain. Luther does something that drives me up the wall. Drives me up the wall. Luther loves to chew gum, and he pops it. He can pop his gum like women. Luther can pop his gum. So things like that when you're um, in a sense of, well, when you're in a season, like I said, of bereavement, and you're feeling oh, it's out, and you have a tendency to lash out. So that would be brought to the forefront. Him popping his gum. That's all I could be thinking about. Oh my God, will you stop popping your gum? And you're always doing this, and knowing that that's really not the root of the issue. We're grieving. We're going through a loss. So sometimes just be cognizant of each other's feelings, because we all grieve different. She don't want me to chew gum. Oh, in certain places we go, you cannot chew gum. You cannot, because he doesn't. Spit the gum out. He has no decorum. Like, spit dude, the gum out. We're in church. Why are you popping your gum? We're in a meeting. He's popping. I just happen to look over at him like, it's only her. Yeah, because it gets on my nerves. So yeah, it's gonna be me. But somebody else would be like, why is this man popping his gum in the middle of the meeting? Nobody else would say that. So anyway, we thank you all for coming on and listening. and sharing. You know, it's we don't take it for granted. We really appreciate you guys coming on. We really do. We hear people all the time like, "Oh, we watch your podcast." People we don't even think of watching a podcast, but we really appreciate it. We love you guys. It's just we do. You know, because of y'all, we can come on and do this. Again, for those who come on and make responses and ask questions, it's just great. Vicky said Lou and the loss of his gum. Yeah, because sometimes I'm like, spit it out. Spit it like you do with your kids. Yeah, that's his way of dealing, I guess, Aunt Lydia, popping that gum. Dealing with, no, I'm not even going to say that. It's not. He just pops his gum just because he likes the way it sounds.
Some the way oh yeah, I chew my gum because I like the way it sounds.
Then why do you pop it?
I didn't realize that I do.
You, yes, you do.
Thank you guys for coming on tonight. Thank you for stopping by Studio
Babe,
22.
you don't realize you pop your gum.
I don't. I don't.
You like
But
that
it's-
sound. Like,
How can you say I like the sound? I just chew gum. I like chewing gum.
he don't realize he pops his gum. Oh, okay, lady, I will. They're telling me to leave you alone. Stop messing with her. Okay. At least got some supporters out there, dear.
Thank you for stopping by.
But really, guys, thank you for stopping by. We do. We appreciate you logging on and supporting Luther and giving him that moral support that he needs. Um,
She
we give
getting
you support.
uh,
So next week, last week was the men's night. Next week is going to be the ladies' night. So we're going to come on and we're going to share. We're going to talk about. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet, but coming on. Heather G said she just come on to see your facial expressions.
if that's making you happy, Heather, we thank you, Heather.
Oh no! Oh no! No, he will not be getting big league chew. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Don't even think about bringing him any because it will go in the trash. Y'all just got it. You know what? Bring it, Ron, and I'll let him. You can hear how he chews that gum. Bring it, and you can hear how whatever.
Now you
I gotta
see
leave
the
him
problem
alone.
is that.
I gotta leave him alone. So.
And you see where the problem lies.
But this is what 29 years of marriage will get you. I'm telling you. Cool said leave him alone. Whatever. I'll leave you alone. All right. Anything else, babe? Anybody got anything they want to say, add? Again, I appreciate. We do. We have fun coming. We have fun doing this, and next week could be good if the women come on. Anything else we need to?
Who you have
got any
coming on?
commer-
You don't know yet? You don't know your guest?
Don't do that.
I just asked a question.
You didn't know yours.
No, I didn't. You know,
Anybody want to come on? How about this? Anybody like to come on? Oh, I'm looking at you.
yeah.
Would anybody like to come
Like
on
you
and
told
be a
me to
guest?
look. We looking over there.
Well, I got an idea. But if there's somebody who wants to come on who say, yeah, I'll come on, I'll be a guest.
Well, you get your list together.
Well, thank you. All right, guys, we're out of here. And we will see you next Thursday, which will be ladies' night. They had men's night. Next Thursday will be ladies' night. And we'll see you then. Thanks for stopping on. You, me, and we podcast. And again, let's connect on where we're connected on YouTube. You can get on YouTube. Even I mean, you watch on here, but if you can go to YouTube and subscribe, we need more subscribers. I think I got 13. Like I need some subscribers. So subscribe, please like and share and like and all of that good stuff. But please get on YouTube. Just go subscribe. You don't even gotta watch over there. Just go subscribe so we can build up our subscriber base. All right. Thank you very much, and we will talk to you soon.